Helping people build ambitious and satisfying careers, businesses, and lives. This is the Influence Ecology podcast. Now, here is your host, John Patterson.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. It's me, John Patterson, the co-founder and CEO of Influence Ecology, the leading business education in transactional competence. Today's mini-sode is an exclusive preview of the July 2020 Influence Ecology 3D virtual conferences. Through Verbella for virtual events, Influence Ecology now offers a social engagement and communication solution on our private 3D virtual campus. It transforms a real-time campus into an unforgettable, fully immersive experience. Our private virtual campus is designed to promote real social interaction, engagement, and collaboration with speakers, attendees, faculty, sponsors, and campus partners. Today, we hear one of our 40 featured conference experts share how they build potent transactions that produce better outcomes. As we teach it, the principle of personality and transactional behavior allows each of us to exploit our unique perspective. From a combination of their worldview and expertise, each conference speaker will reveal their specialized strategies and tactics that you can apply to your own business or profession. Our 3D virtual campus allows you to meet today's guest, other experts, and participants 24 hours a day from both conferences and in any country. Here's the interview. Andrew Crellin, welcome back to the Influence Ecology podcast. Great to have you with us.
G'day, John. It's great to be here.
For our listeners, say your name, where you live, and a little bit about what you do.
My name is Andrew Crellin. I live in Perth, Western Australia, and I am a professional numismatist.
And you have to say what that means.
Excellent. Yeah. So that means I study, buy, and sell rare coins, currency, and metals to deal with. I deal with collectors.
That's fantastic. So your specialization and what you do, tell us a little bit more about that so I have an understanding, or our listeners have an understanding about what is your specialization?
So it's interesting, John. I have, even though a lot of people can't conceive that there is a business where people buy and sell rare coins and make a living, I have a specialization within this industry. So I tend to deal with products and objects that have a history, a social history, or a story behind them, and I deal with collectors that appreciate them. So it's not so much a greengrocering exchange where items are commodities, but I deal in building narratives around the products that I handle, and I deal with people that enjoy holding objects in their hands that have a story behind them.
That's fantastic. All right. So now, before I ask you about your talk, I'll say more. The personality that you identify with as we teach it is which personality?
So I identify with the producer personality type.
And for what does that mean?
Well, I guess what that means is the way I would relate to it is I'm the guy that gets given a contract or told we're going to do something in this business relationship with a customer. And then my role as part of the team is to work out how we do that to everyone's satisfaction, how we can best do that to everyone's satisfaction quickly and effectively. So we get things done.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. Okay, so now you've been invited to talk at the Influence Ecology virtual conference in July. And you are going to talk on something. I'm going to set a little context for just a moment. So for our listeners, we teach personality and transactional behavior, and that means that different people come to transactions in a particular role with particular values. So those things are often important in parts of the transaction. So, for example, in your role, you just said for a moment that in transactions, you get things done. So you're the personality in the transaction that tends to get things done. I'm the guy typically in the transaction that creates ideas. So I'm an inventor, you're a producer, and people can easily hear how that works. At the conference, what we're going to be dealing with is that when we build transactions, sometimes something's missing. And often what's missing is something that our own personality is not necessarily gifted at understanding. Maybe we aren't clear of the value of that thing. So we're going to have 40 speakers speaking to different facets of some of the things that may be missing for us in our transactions. And it's very exciting. I've been listening to many of the previews of the talks. There's a lot of really amazing things that are coming our way. So now you're doing a talk, and your talk is called what?
The title of my talk is Aiming Toward One Object.
Good. And tell us a little bit about what you plan to share in your talk.
So, John, I guess the area of my expertise is in physical currency and the role that plays in human exchange. So human beings have used physical objects in trade and exchange for thousands of years, and not just money, but many thousands of years before that. And we're in a really interesting time at the moment where that may not be the case for the next several thousand years, what with the advent of a cashless society and the other digital changes that are coming at us. So I'm going to explore that subject, work out what it might mean for us as individuals and also as a society.
It's as you talked a little bit about that, I thought about objects like shells or beads or bones or things like that. And then I know that came into the history of money later on were metal objects, notes, and so forth. Some of those metal objects have value as we deem it. You know, gold is more valuable than silver, we say, or for example. But in your own view, why do you think objects have played such a role in currency? Why has that mattered?
I think there's something really primal and visceral in receiving something and giving something up, or more giving something up when receiving something. And if we think of credit card debt as being an example, one of the reasons it's easy for people to get into credit card debt is because there's not that resistance at the time of exchange. There's nothing physical needs to be handed over at the time of exchange. So physical objects have played a role in exchange for a long period of time because it speaks to the need for us as human beings to really experience receiving at the same time as giving.
That's fantastic. That's a beautiful. I've not heard that way. That's fantastic. Any other things like that? They're little gems of you may not know that they're gems because it's just for you what's obvious, but for people, anything else you want to say about objects and objects of currency?
Yeah, I think what's really interesting, John, is that I'm loath to tell people to be instructive about this process. As you pointed to a couple of minutes ago, you mentioned that we're all different personality types, we're all in different situations, and the physical object that is right for me at this point in time in one particular exchange or business deal or whatever it might be completely incorrect or inappropriate or impractical for another person at another point in time. And one of the things that's coming up for me in the reading that I'm doing to prepare for this is the value that there is in having a mix of objects and a mix of payment methods. And are we going to have a cashless society? That's a really interesting question. Are we going to go past possibly 3,000-4,000 years of human exchange to be satisfied with virtual objects? And is an object, is a virtual receipt an object? That's a really interesting question to explore.
Well, All right. Well, all of this and more we're going to explore at the conference. And I know that for many people attending, they're going to hear a lot about objects at the conference. Producers, generally speaking, tend to objectify a lot of what's needed in a transaction. So we'll hear about that from different viewpoints from all of the producers, as well as some of the other things from other personalities. Andrew, what are you looking forward to most about attending the conference yourself?
John, I think I've got a great deal of value from the study that I've done with influence ecology, and I'm doing with influence ecology. I think the what this conference offers is a real fragmentation of the value that influence ecology provides, and by that I mean we've got, as you mentioned, 40 experts in their field, but also 40 people who are really deeply trained in transactional competence. And I think to view those areas of expertise through the lens of transactional competence, I think that's really going to open up a very deep layer of understanding for me, and I'm really excited about that.
Me too. All right. Well, thank you so much for being here today. I look forward to seeing you at the conference.
My pleasure, John. I look forward to it too.
During the conference, we'll hear about each topic, why it's important, and how you can apply these strategies and tactics to your own business or profession. In addition to our July 2020 conferences, our campus offers corporate training, educational workshops, and study incubators that include ambitious professionals from many industries, professions, and cultures. We provide social mixers and networking events to help connect with others and their expertise. We allow students, faculty, and mentors the opportunity to connect before and after program sessions, to get help, form study groups, and use the campus for discussion. We also offer our advanced students premier program venues that serve their aims for an elite experience amongst peers. We can't wait to see you around campus.